Okay, mic test. 1 2 1 2. Mic test. Sander, before the stream starts, I'm just looking at the speed of the oil move at the time of the news just to see why you might not have gotten filled. It was a fast move. It wasn't nearly as fast as CPI. It was very fast, but I think you should have gotten filled, but it's not totally out of the question. All right. I just wanted to look at the speed of that. I think to get two no fills in one day, it's pretty unusual. So let's see what happens on Wasde if you trade it. Okay, welcome everyone to the Pro Trade Room Plus and the Wasde Report. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director at 10 Minute Trades. Please remember I'm not a financial advisor. All trades are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so trade carefully, please. Okay, everyone, we're back for Wasde. Sander, I'd be curious about what that error message was. It's in your log or in your Ninja script output. So I want to welcome everybody that's watching us on YouTube. Definitely hit that like button if you're watching us on YouTube. This is our second stream of the day, and CPI was quite interesting. Quite a few people made money. Quite a few people did not get filled. A couple of losses here and there, but overall, very positive experience for most of us. Now, let's talk about WASD. WASD, it's a family money trade that is not performing well at the moment. Okay? We have gone through many years of trading WASD. There's very few reports that I would use the word always. Okay? But WASD almost always offers a potential for profit. And that to me is one major reason why it's a family money trade. If you look at the corn part of WASD, we have two instruments that we trade, corn and soybeans. Corn has not been moving. And it's been like this for about a year, maybe longer. Um, it's incredible if you think about it. We used to only trade corn. We've been trading soybeans for a long time now. And the reason I say is it's not been trading as well because the last three, there's only been one winner. Okay, we had a cancel, which is unusual in March. We had a nice winner in April, and we had a lousy stop on the last one. So, it's to my way of thinking, WASD is still a family money trade because it has the potential to return to the mean and be a very strong trade today. And that's actually what I'm looking for. Okay? I'm looking for a good WASD trade today. Now, our setup. By the way, how do you like the shirt? What do you think? 0 to 10. 0 being horrible, 10 being great. What do you think of the shirt? Type it in. I want to see at least 5 type-ins. At least five, David. That's funny. Type it in. David 4.5. That's hilarious. Don't hold back. Chantal, you like it. Sander, you like it. Come on, 3 people. There's more of you than that. What do you think of the shirt? 0 to 10. I spent a lot of time redoing my whole wardrobe at Foreman Mills. Foreman Mills. I don't know if anybody knows what Foreman Mills is. The shirt, 0 to 10. 0 horrible, 10 great shirt. Anyway, thanks, Rafi. I love the honesty. I really do. It's awesome. All right. It was $5.98. $5.98. No joke. Foreman Mills. Anyway, all right, we're getting ready for WASD. We've got some people watching it. I keep turning to look at my YouTube laptop. I need a carpenter to come in here and put the laptop like up above me on the wall or something. It'd be pretty cool because I hate having to look over all the time. Anyway, so WASD, as you could see on soybeans, the last three not great, but prior to that, it's been trading well. WASD's been trading well. It's also a report that we know that it reverses a lot and often. So you don't want to be too greedy on your targets. That's one thing I would say seriously about WASD. It's a private report in this. It's not a private report. It's an under the radar report. It's not on the calendars anymore. It is on investing.com, but they don't do any results to the WASD. They just show the day that it's trading and the time. So we never know when the news is released, but we've been trading it long enough to know that the WASD report comes out reliably. We will get filled usually within 20 seconds of noon. It's a noon report, and we don't know what the news is, though, ever. Okay? Now, I suppose you could go to the Department of Agriculture's WASD website and try to read the report at the moment it's released, but I don't think you can really do that while you're trading. It's just not going to happen. So we accept the fact that we don't know what the news is on the WASD. We accept the fact that we're going to get filled, and we accept the fact that we have a setup for it. Okay? It's just that simple. Life is not that complicated. It really isn't. Life is a carnival, believe it or not. Now, just as a final heads up about all that top step ridiculousness, my top step account on every, what's the right word? Every control panel, I have not hit the drawdown on my top step account ever. Langford was thinking, hey, it's acting like a, it's acting the way it acts when you blow the account. And I totally agree with what he said. But I didn't blow the account. In fact, I had multiple winning trades that haven't been credited. So even notwithstanding the multiple winners or losers, my balance is well above the drawdown allowed to keep the account alive on every control panel. Whether I load Ninja, whether I load R Trader Pro, the control panel reflects a proper account. Now, I'm not going to trade my Top Step account today because it's not working. So there's no point. I'm just showing you the going to show you the account. It's above 48 and it should be closer to 49 with all the winning trades I've had in the past couple of days. But it's taking money off when it should be putting them on. So Top Step is done for the day until they answer an email properly, which they haven't done yet. Um, I think there's risk in trading the trap trade on corn. Okay. I don't think it's a monstrous amount of risk because it's not all that big a setup. It only has worked a couple of times in the past 6 months. So it's really up to you if you think you want to take a shot trading the trap trade on corn. It's a very small setup. Okay. Corn as a trap trade does not qualify as a family money trade. Keep that in mind. It's only the soybean breakout that's a family money trade. Okay? Just want to be real clear so nobody makes mistakes based on improper information. Our trap trade is a tier of 8, a tier of 14, and a stop of 15. And you trigger at 12 noon Eastern time. Okay. If you're not Eastern time, you trigger at the top of the hour for the time you are at. In other words, if you're in California, you're triggering at 9 a.m. All right. I have the new software, so I'm triggering it a little bit differently. The new software does it differently. And your prep is 5 seconds. Okay. Time of the event is 12 noon. Prep is 5 seconds. I've got a 15 stop, an 8 for tier 1, a 14 for tier 2. 12 o'clock Eastern time is the time of the event with a prep of 5 seconds. And I'm going to see if I can get connected to my Buell Knox account and we'll see if they're working today. So right now, the Buellers seem to be up and about. They're awake. So we will trade the trap trade. That's interesting. Okay, we have two accounts on Buell Knox. Langford, just so you know, for the future, which we're not sure, it automatically detects that extra account if you do it under the same profile. Okay, if you create a new person, then it doesn't. I hope you understand. I think you understand what I mean. Okay, new login, etc. But it automatically detected it. I just want to make sure I'm choosing the right one. I wasn't paying attention. Oh, I don't want to do that. Very good. Okay, that tells me what I want to know. There we go. All right, so connected to O1, connected to O1. So, like I said, there is definite risk using the trap because it just has only worked 2 of 6. But I think corn is showing a little bit more life. I know it's hard to believe that, but I do think it is. So we'll see what happens. Now, on our breakout trade on soybeans, Let's see what we got in a template. Wasde. I'm not sure if I created a template or not. I guess I didn't. I thought that I did. Yes, I did. Is it valid? Let's see. It's not. Okay. Let's create a WASD setup. So it's a breakout trade. We are triggering at 11:59:58. We have a bracket of 12 on soy. And all of us, not all of a sudden, but as of late, soybeans have been moving much less. If we go back 6 more months, you'll see some moves over 100 ticks. Soy has been getting smaller. All right. It's definitely been getting smaller. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be dead today, but I'm not going to go greedy at all. Not going to go greedy at all. If it hits my first target, I will move the stop to break even -2. And you can use targets anywhere between 8 and 50. I mean, it's up to you. We've had 100 tick moves on this report. So you can get some pretty good movement. Right now, it's definitely been smaller as of late. The stop is 20. The trigger entry is 11:59:58. The bracket is 12. Okay. And we're going to call that soy. And I'll save that with today's date. All right. We'll check our brackets. The market's pretty quiet.
Order submitted.
It's definitely pretty
Order
quiet.
canceled.
So that's kind of interesting. We're not very far off flat for both instruments from 6 p.m. last night. It may not be 6 p.m. last night. Corn, the grains trade at different times. Trigger at 11:59:58. Okay, 11 if Eastern time. Eastern time. Eastern time. Hang on, folks. All right. So breakout 11:59:58. Bracket of 20. Bracket is 12. Sorry. Stop is 20. Targets anywhere between 8 and 50. If you have big targets, I mean, I'm not going that big on my targets. I think you're better off a little bit smaller on the targets, on the second target in particular. All right. Checking to make sure everything's in the right place. Did you check your time sync? Okay, so Sandra, if you want to do that one position trade instead of two on Soyce, you can use this software to help you. Let me think for a second. So if the market, you're going to trade just one position instead of two, I think that I would look for 20 ticks. 15 and 10 is okay. I would look a little bigger than you're thinking, Sandra. I would look for, let's be conservative. Let's go if the market moves 15 ticks, move my stop to break even plus 11. All right. The market moves 15 ticks, stop to break even plus 11, and I would use a stop of 20 ticks, say. Target, I mean. Target one would be 20 ticks. One target for 20 ticks. If market moves 15, move my stop to break even plus 11. But, that's just a guide. It's not, you could modify that. You don't have to do exactly what I'm saying, obviously. All right, so check your time sync, everyone, like we always do. So now here's a crazy thing that's technologically makes no sense. 2 months ago, if I just moved my browser tab to this screen, it would bring the browser with it, the tab. Now it opens the tab, puts it behind another tab, and I have to drag it over. I didn't change anything or do it doesn't make sense. I didn't do anything. And it's like on every computer. It's like, did Windows change in an upgrade? It makes no sense. We're going to go to the website time.is to check our sync, and the computer's in sync. If you're not in sync, we have tools on our website. Dimension 4, D4 Time is a program you can load, and PT Sync, PT Time Sync. Two sync programs that are free in the room drive on our taskbar in the trade room. Last month's Wasde. Last month's WASD was a stop. It was just one of those rotten kind of moves where it filled at the bottom of the candle and then went up. We did a lot of thinking about the bracket size on this report. April. April filled. It chops a bit. Misses, hits the target finally, and just not the greatest follow through. Now it's starting, okay? Trying to, protect and grab some extra profit. All right, just not a giant WASD like we like to see. And then it did change direction, okay? And then we have March. March. Pretty quiet. A little bit slower on the fill than normal for sure. In fact, I think March was a cancel. That's unusual. We don't get many WASD cancels. I like to wait. I like to wait longer than that, to tell you the truth. But it was so not impactful that particular day that the cancel was not a terrible decision. It did go up a little bit after that, okay? But you could see it was nothing great to write home about. We didn't really miss much of anything by canceling. And then if we look at February, February had a pretty solid, hit the first target. Definitely a little bit more normal as a WASD, but even still, certainly less of an explosion that we are used to. And that's what we've been seeing over the past 3, 4 months. Interestingly, even in January, which is a combo WASD quarterly grain report, they trade together. Okay. So there's tremendous potential. I'll show you that one real quick and then we'll get ready. WASD quarterly grain in January, just not much considering what it could have been. Just not the big kind of move you'd expect from a quarterly grain with a WASD. It did continue down though. So it did have some good continuation before it changed direction. Okay? That was WASD quarterly grain. Today it's just normal WASD. If there's any such thing as normal with anything. Any last second questions? Okay. So we've got 2.5 minutes to go. We have a high of a day above us. Pretty flat markets at the moment. Very, very small range today. You got the high and the low, they're really close to each other. I don't know what's going on with grains today. They're soporific. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation of that word. Soporific. Might be soporific. It means sleep inducing. It used to be that the API was soporific, right? All right, so we've got a minute and a half to go. We're just waiting. All we can do is wait now. We did our job. Okay. I've got the right accounts going. Soy is cash. Not sure the trap trade makes much sense, but my first official Buell Knox trade. We'll see how it goes. Is the DMM incorrectly dated? Is it? As long as the data is good. All right, 30 seconds. So, we went 40 seconds in March. I think it was the March that was canceled. 40 seconds is probably, in most instances, long enough. I'd be surprised if it was a cancel because of no movement.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
So according to a Labour poll, it shows the far-right National Rally expected to win 31% of votes in the first round of the French legislative election. And the poll shows Renaissance Party and Allies expected to win 18%, alliance of left-wing parties 28%.
I'm waiting. This does not look like a news report's been released. Corn's not moving. Soy's not moving. It seems to me the report's not out. It's certainly one of the frustrations of trading a report where you don't know what the news is because it doesn't come onto a calendar. Now, I don't think I got the day wrong.
Order canceled. Order submitted.
So if it's pretty darn dull. Um, Maybe shouldn't have let it fill, but I let it fill. I'm going to cancel the
Order
outer
canceled.
tier on my trap and just prevent that from being a loss no matter what. So we need a move down. I think I'm going to combine my orders because nothing's happening here. Nothing's happening at all. I don't want to take a full stop out. There's no reason to do that. It should test the low, I would think. I would think it'll test the low or come close to it. Shrinking the stop. There's no reason to trying to shrink the stop as little as possible if it doesn't go our way.
Order canceled.
Okay, so just a tiny move on corn. Just really just
Order
want a
filled.
tiny, just a flat exit. There's nothing happening here. I don't really want to be in this trade. Obviously, the report did nothing. This report doesn't come out 3 minutes late. I got out flat. My trade's over. The trap trade, couple of ticks. Just no movement, folks. No movement. Very strange. I don't even know what to say. That's really weird. It's just this past week's been a weird week. It is what it is. Um, I think you should just get out with as small of a loss as possible if you didn't get out flat or with a tick. It just, it might, I think it should have tested the low, but that could be considered just barely a test of the low because it's 2 ticks away. That counts as a test. 2 ticks is my maximum distance away from a low that would count. Okay? So that would count. When you don't have much of a move, there's not much to reverse either. And that's why there was not much to grab on that trap trade. You didn't have much of a move, so there's not much to reverse. And it's as if there was no, I mean, it's like there was no report. There was a move down. Our bracket wasn't that big, and we all saw nothing much happened. Nothing much happened. We didn't do anything wrong. We just did not get much of a response. And there it's testing the low now. Now, that would have, it's on the way to ruining the trap, right? If it keeps going, keeps moving down, it ruins the trap, okay? But you're not foolish for exiting because there just wasn't much activity based on the report. Now, what's interesting, I like that 30-second squeeze. The one thing that's saying, hey, maybe we could have stayed is the squeeze. There's been no sign that the squeeze is looking to change direction yet. Okay? No sign the squeeze is looking for a change in direction. So a pretty uneventful Wasde. Pretty uneventful Wasde. Although, look, it's moving now. But it's 5 minutes, 6 minutes almost after the news. Let's look at the video. Let's take a look at the video. Look, the truth is, probably it should have been canceled. I mean, that's the honest truth. So nobody's typing a thing. Type in if you traded, what happened, did you get out, did you stay in? Type in what you did, folks. So just get a roll call here. Be nice to know what happened. Frank, you stayed in a little bit. Okay, good for you. Roz, you got us some ticks. Okay, good. So some people stayed. Ravi's waiting for FOMC. Alan, couple of bucks on the breakout. John, small loss on the breakout. Yeah, the breakout was, it just wasn't really much of a breakout. Let's look at the video. So look, should it have been canceled? Probably yes. Let's look at why. Let's look at why. There's two things I hate more than anything in the world. Not getting filled, right? Nothing is worse. First of all, the thing you hate the most is a stop, of course. But beyond that, not getting filled and canceling a trade. Those are two other things that I can't stand. All right, so look, here's Wasde. And we just waited. We just waited. I would say by now, with most WASDs, by now, we know that the report's out. We're certainly by 12 and 30 seconds. I think 90% of all cases, a 30-second cancel is pretty reasonable. In this case today, let's see what happened within 45 seconds. I think that truth be known here, 45 seconds. It really seemed like the news wasn't out. That's why I didn't cancel. Corn didn't move a tick. It really just looked like the news wasn't out. That's why I stayed with it. I think by the time a minute, now I think the news is out because corn was moving, soy didn't. So in theory, it probably should have been canceled 10 seconds ago. It probably should have been canceled 10 seconds ago because corn clearly was responding to the report because corn barely moves and it had a couple of ticks of movement. And soybean still wasn't really responding to the news. So it would not have been a wrong move to cancel right there at a minute. Okay. That was not unreasonable. They don't change margins on this trade. So there you're a minute and 20 and you get filled. And it's really like, you're really thinking to yourself, man, probably shouldn't have let it get filled. The only thing in retrospect that might have made sense was it was looked like it might want to test the low. The squeeze started working. So I think it wasn't unreasonable to try to grab those ticks that some people were able to grab there, right here, right there. Okay. It's usually not this quiet. This is two out of, and then look. All right. There's the reversal, but it took quite a bit more than usual. Just very weird behavior from this report today. The one thing I just wanted to look at the DMM before we go. Let me just check one thing. So we've now had, it doesn't affect us today, but we've now had 2 out of 4 cancels, right? Because I think this should have been a cancel. 2 out of 4 not normal WASDs. We could qualify it like that. That's unusual. But again, the WASD to me, it will still be a family money trade. I do not believe that WASD all of a sudden is becoming a report that's not going to be tradable because this is what we see on occasion. This is what reports do sometimes. All right. Okay, everyone. So thanks, folks on YouTube, for watching. If you'd be kind enough to hit that like button and hit the notification so you know the next time we'll be streaming. We're streaming tomorrow. And everybody else in the trade room,